Get ready with me / story time of how I found out I am pregnant with my third baby. Let's go. Around Thanksgiving, I was feeling super nauseous. I've been tired for weeks. I would literally sleep most of the day because I would just be so dizzy if I was like up and moving around. I literally wake up from sleeping all night and have to take a nap almost immediately because I just couldn't do it. I was 17 days late on my period, which for me was pretty normal because after I had my son, my periods had been consistently late. Like they would be like 1 day late or like 12 days late, so I didn't really think anything of it. This was going on consistently pretty much all of November, and then my nausea and stuff had started getting worse in December. Thankfully, I never actually threw up, but at this point I was like, okay, something's going on. This ain't right. And my husband would constantly joke with me and be like, haha, it's twins, you're pregnant. How are my babies doing? He just kept fucking around with me because neither one of us thought that I actually was pregnant. Each day my symptoms were getting like worse and worse, and I was like, okay, this is annoying. I'm gonna take a test just to prove that I'm not pregnant. Tell me why I took a test and it was immediately pregnant. I didn't even have to wait the full 3 minutes. It was, you're pregnant, surprise. It literally popped up so fast and I just sat there and was like, what? I mean, my husband and I weren't trying, but we weren't preventing it either. I mean, like, my couch pulls out, if you know what I mean. At this point, I was already like 7 weeks pregnant and I was just hit with a ton of emotion. Like, I wasn't really excited. I was more like terrified, especially of having to like give birth again. Even though my first 2 births were fairly easy, I was still extremely terrified. I just wasn't ready for more kids. I mean, we already have 2. Our daughter is 10 and our son is 2.5. My first thought was to text my best friend because my husband was at work and I didn't want to tell him over the phone, but like I needed to tell somebody. And she was literally at my house within 20 minutes and we just sat and talked. She helped me put together something to tell my husband later when he got home that day. And it was just so amazing having her there for me in that moment because like I just was spiraling. It's actually really funny because like a week or so before I took the test, I had a dream that I was pregnant and the first person I told was my best friend. I had my first OB appointment on January 14th and I was 10 weeks and 3 days at this point. And let me just say, the waiting game between getting a positive pregnancy test and your first OB appointment is for the birds. Because you have no idea if everything is okay, you're stressed out, you're worrying about everything, you feel like fucking garbage. It's just really frustrating. Also, a lot has changed since having my son 3 years ago because they literally did my first ultrasound like right there in the room. She had a literal iPad and like those little like the scanning thing that they put on your stomach so you can see the baby like during the ultrasound. She literally had like a little version of that in an iPad and you could just see it right there on the iPad, and I was like, where the fuck was this with my first kid? It was over 10 years ago, but come on. But it was really cool to be able to see the baby because we couldn't get the heartbeat on the Doppler because I was still early. So having to see it on the ultrasound, it just relieved any like stress or anxiety I had. So that was really cool. 2 weeks after that, on January 28th, I was 12 weeks and 3 days. I had another ultrasound and blood work done to do the genetic and gender testing. The ultrasound was requested by my doctor to make sure the baby was growing okay because both of my kids were fairly small at birth. My daughter was 6 pounds and my son was 6 pounds and 12 ounces, which to me isn't really small, but my doctor just wanted to make sure that baby was growing okay because apparently I make small children. But everything came back normal and baby is still on track for the due date of August 9th. And everything with the genetic testing came back as low risk, so that's amazing. And also we are having a baby girl. My daughter is so excited to have a little sister because she already has a little brother and she just can't wait to just snuggle on her. And although my son is 2, he doesn't quite understand, but I know that once I have the baby, he's going to be very lovable and just like be all over. And that brings us to today. I am 14 weeks and 3 days. Had another OB appointment today, and it was just a checkup. Baby girl is doing great. Up until this point, I have still been feeling very nauseous, but it's definitely subsided a ton from the beginning. I also still get headaches damn near every day. I also get really dizzy and like this weird funky feeling every time I'm like standing for too long. So like majority of the time I'm just being a lazy piece of shit and just sitting down. I have also been sick twice already. 'Tis the season, I guess. I was also under the impression that I wasn't able to take anything for being sick. Like I literally just had like a head cold. I literally suffered through it, and today I found out that I actually could have taken medicine. So I'm like, what the fuck? I am incredibly thankful to my husband for really picking up my slack the past couple of months because your girl has been lazy. But I'm also like growing a baby, so I can't be. So far, this pregnancy has been kicking my ass, especially since we have a toddler running around and a sassy little 10-year-old preteen. If you have made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Little 14-week bump. I feel huge. I don't remember being this large and in charge with my other two. I also just filmed my very first unboxing of my bump box, so make sure you check that out, and I will see you guys next week for week 15 bump date. Bye!